Hey yo, what is going on everybody? It's your boy X coming at y'all with a brand new video, and as you guys can see, we have the bigger tier list here today from S all the way down to F tier. So if you guys are excited, make sure you guys smash the like button down below. We're going to be ranking all the best cards in 2K21 in this massive tier list, so might be a bit of a long one. We're going to do two parts for this video. This is going to be part 1, so make sure to check out part 2 once that drops, and you can check out everybody that's going to be B, A, and S tier. We're going to be covering F through C on this one, just so you know. If you want to check out any of the positional tier lists, card color tier lists, we have the pink diamonds and diamonds out now. You can check those all out. Links in the description down below in case you want to check them out. Also check out the ball drop method video. It's wonderful. So subscribe, all that wonderful stuff, and let me know your favorite card down in the comments. And now we can start off the F tier. You guys know with every single tier list, we just show you guys everybody that's down in the stinkers all at once. So there we go. These are all the cards we have in F tier. I took a lot of the guys that we had from the diamonds, pink diamonds, amethyst, ruby tier list, all that sort of stuff, and just threw them in to this. So we have Antonio Davis, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, CJ McCollum, Elton Brand, David Thompson, Ben Simmons, Taco Fall, Paul Silas, Amethyst Boris Dio, and Manute Bol. Most of these cards just have some pretty glaring weaknesses. Antonio Davis, I just don't like the card. So Zydrunas Ilgauskas, way too slow to play the center position. He just gets burned every possession. CJ McCollum just can't play any sort of defense, and he's undersized, so the two, it's just not worth it. Elton Brand's just trash. David Thompson, his speed ball is just way too low, so he just cannot play good defense, and it makes him feel really awkward. Also an awkward jump shot. Ben Simmons obviously can't shoot at all. Is an amazing slasher, amazing defender, but I mean, not being a threat at all to even hit a mid-range, I think kills all momentum you can have with the card. Taco Fall, again, too slow. It just wasn't impressive when I used him. Paul Silas, only a defender, not really worth it too much. And Amethyst Boris Dio, a little bit more than a defender, I think kind of can shoot, but still just not worth using. And Manute Bol, again, nice because he's tall, but just way too slow. So starting off, we have the E tier, and this one is a little bit, I guess, more full than the other ones. First off, we have Kiki Vandalia, a card that's pretty good at most things, but it's just a really slow small forward, although he is tall and is kind of just meant to be a pure shooter, but you can buff up some things to make him nice, but it's really just not too worth it. Damian Lillard, a card that is amazing offensively, but really just doesn't have any defense, and yeah, there's not a lot of upside to him, so E tier it was. Whenever we get a pink Damian Lillard, I can promise you if he has any sort of defense, he's going to be amazing, but this diamond, it's just not it for me. Next up is Charles Oakley, a really versatile defender at the 4, can kind of shoot a little bit, can kind of play in the post, can kind of finish a little bit. Defensively, he's great, but slightly lackluster on offense, which is why he only made it to E tier. If he had a little bit better shooting ability at the 4, it could have kind of been more of a stretch. I think D tier would have been really nice for him, but no, it is what it is. Next up is Tom Gugliatta, all offense, power forward, small forward, that can really just dunk the ball, shoot really nice, decent release, but just doesn't have any sort of defense, so I couldn't put him above E. Next up is Tim Hardaway. Going to be another culprit of the, X just does not like having a card with Jump Shot 40 playing the PG, and that's just me. Also pretty undersized, and you do have to really badge up his defense to make him amazing. He does have the Curry slide, which I know is going to make some people really overrate this card and make him, so he should be C tier, all this sort of stuff badged up, and if you want to, that's great. I just don't think it's too worth it. The Curry slide with his jump shot 40 base, to me, just doesn't work very well together. Just doesn't feel that good in game. He's an okay card, though. Next up is Sharif Abdul Rahim, a card that I actually love, but getting a bit outdated at this point, and I don't love the fact that he can only have bronze. He starts off with bronze clamps. You can boost it up, but he doesn't get any sort of playmaking badges that really help him, like quick first step. Shooting badges are very limited, and finishing badges are pretty decent, I will say. So he's a good finisher, but yeah, he's supposed to be a decent inside defender and a nice shooter, and he also only has a 46 perimeter defense, which is pretty tough. I love the card, but he's definitely very limited. Next up is the Amethyst Julius Irving. I may have been a little bit too harsh on this Dr. J card because I did use him, and he really was an amazing slasher when I was, I actually had him in game, and it was nice. He really did a lot of things pretty well for me, but yeah, just couldn't play defense, and it was really tough. Also, didn't have quick first steps, you have to badge that up, and the shooting badges are not there, although I really didn't find it to be too much of a problem. With a nice coach boost, I got him to like an 83-point shot, which actually made it pretty consistent, but it doesn't change the fact that he's kind of meant to just be a slasher, but isn't without quick first step still doesn't feel the fastest, which is a little tough. Next up, Luca Doncic. Same thing with Damian Lillard. Offensively, this card is insane, but he just cannot play a lick of defense. And it's tough. Again, whenever we get a Luca card that has some sort of defense, he's going to be a demon. He's going to be amazing. The jump shot is a little bit slow, but I think that really helps out with timing. I see so many people that use this Luca card, nothing but greens, which is amazing, but it doesn't change the fact that he can't guard up at all. Next up is Tyrique Evans, a card that I've just never been a fan of because he has a terrible release. Hall of Fame quick first step is great, but yeah, I can't use the card. Next up is Dick Barnett, Richard Barnett, trying to avoid the demonetization, but it's a little bit late now. And Barnett, I think, is a pretty solid card, but you got to badge up a lot of his defense to really make him just an okay defender. The jump shot is like oddly too quick. It's just, I don't know. It's just not a jumper that I prefer. It's just not a card that I prefer to use. He's okay, he's solid, but hot zones are super limited. And, again, I don't feel excited to use a Dick Barnett card, so I threw him into E tier. Next up is Ruby Chris Paul. I love the Ruby Chris Paul. I think he is an amazing, amazing card, especially for budget options. But when you actually sit down and look at it, obviously there are some other cards that are for sure a bit better. And that's just kind of how it is, because Chris Paul is a Ruby. I mean, you kind of expect it. He's a Ruby. He's not going to be, a game-breaking card. He still does everything really well for a nice budget option, but just can't dunk as a smaller, kind of Ruby card. And we're getting a lot of new Amethysts and Rubies that can kind of really outplay Chris Paul a bit. Also doesn't have the most amazing dribbling, but I still love the Ruby card, and I still think if you're a super budget option, you should be using him. But now he has a new Amethyst that you low-key should be getting even more because it's barely a price increase. Next up is Dino Raja. Awesome defender, awesome rebounder, can hit the midi pretty well, but just, again, I think severely lacking badge-wise. Once we get Amethyst, Diamond, even a Pink Diamond Dino Raja, I'm going to be the first person to make a gameplay on that because I love Dino cards. Dino is my man. Up there with AK is one of my favorites. It's just, this Ruby just doesn't have that punch. Has the amazing wingspan, has the amazing just everything that Dino did last year. Just needs a few more badges and some increases in some stats places to at least be okay. If he had like a 70 shot 3, I'd be happy, but it's not bad. Next up is Bruce Bowen. Again, another card that I really, really like. And I tell everybody all the time, if you're a budget player, you need to have him because he's a great 3-and-D shooter. But it doesn't change the fact that he doesn't have all the badges that you want. And obviously, he has like a terrible free throw. He's not a great finisher. Only has perimeter defense and only has really like a good 3-point shot and okay midi. Bruce Bowen is definitely limited, and he's only there to be a 3-and-D guy without range, which obviously is tough, and there's definitely some better options. But he's still an amazing, budget guy to run, especially in limited. I still love him. He's just, again, limited. Next up is Lafonzo Ellis, another card that I feel like is amazing and has potential to be great. Just needs a few more things here and there to be great. 6'8", 6'11" wingspan is awesome. He's a solid defender, really good finisher, has a good jump shot and some nice shooting badges, shooting stats, but doesn't have a lot of shooting badges, doesn't have the playmaking badges that we'd want. So he's a great card. He's just, again, limited badge-wise, which does hurt him. Next up is Ruby Andrew Wiggins, another card that just suffers from the not a lot of badges. I mean, this Wiggins, jump shot 22, great slasher, pretty good defender, but doesn't have all of the badges that we would want. And because he's a Ruby, we can't really add that many. It's only like, 5 or 6 badges that we can add, which just doesn't help out because he does need a lot. So it's a little bit tough. And last but not least is Penny Hardaway, a card that should be amazing, but he just has no defense. And really, people only like him because he's tall and has the Curry slide. Again, I've said this a lot. Just because a card has a Curry slide, it doesn't automatically make him a top tier card. It is something that's nice, but it doesn't automatically mean he's great. And Penny, I think, is a perfect example of this. The jump shot is meh, and yeah, you can't clamp up. I've killed this Penny Hardaway many a times with Curry, and even a time or two with Dwayne Wade recently. Penny he ain't it, man. Not worth your time. Now, starting off the D tier, we do have Alex English, the Carmelo Anthony clone, that I think, if you fully badge him up, can be just barely worse than Carmelo. But again, you still should go with Melo because Melo has range, and Alex English just doesn't. It's a little tough. Next up is Vlade Divock. The Diamond Vlade, I think, is really good. Has some nice stretch big ability, but he is just, again, so slow. And you have to be next level at some things to really be you know, worth it if you have a 66 cap at your speed. I don't like to give, I guess, recommendations or examples of cards that we're going to be showing later on in the higher tiers because it gives it away, but Vlade is basically, they have super slow, same speed as a, you know, glitch Tim Duncan, but Tim Duncan is an amazing shooter, an amazing defender, and amazing post guy. Vlade is a good post guy, a good defender, a pretty good playmaker for a center, and an okay shooter, and it just doesn't give me a lot. Even if you had deep threes, I mean, we're still missing, you know, some pretty key badges like Deadeye, difficult shots, sniper, rhythm shooter, green machine, volume shooter, like some pretty key badges there. We also don't have all of the defensive badges we'd want, like pogo stick, you know, even intimidator, interceptor. It's just, again, Vlade's missing a lot, and I just don't think that investing in Vlade is the best idea. Next up is Shane Battier. I said it when we went over the Diamonds list, I think yesterday. Shane Battier should have been great. Everything jumps out as being an amazing off-ball, you know, catch and shoot guy with great defense, and he's got the defense part, but for some reason he just doesn't feel as great of a shooter for me, and it's a big letdown. Jump shot 40 is great on Bruce Bowen, but for some reason Battier just doesn't get it. The only thing holding him up there is that he's just a great defender. Next up is Diamond Russell Westbrook, a card that I know a lot of people were really mad that I put low last time, but Westbrook, he ain't that, man. He's an not undersized guard. He's a decent sized guard that only can get max bronze clamps, which is tough. I like that he's quick. I like that he finishes great, but he's super limited in shooting. The jump shot is super slow, and again, he's just not that great of a defender. I understand Westbrook's super popular. He's a great card and he's a big name, but this diamond just ain't it. Whenever he gets a pink diamond, I expect it to be an absolute beast up there in the A and S tiers, but right now this diamond, I gotta throw a D. Same thing with Kevin Durant. He just kind of suffers from being an older card. Again, max of bronze clamps, but it's KD, so he's super shifty. He's super great. Still going to be a fun card. Still going to be a nice one to use. Just outdated at this point, which is why, you know, he got a pink diamond. Next up is Dominique Elijah, another card waiting on a, you know, pink diamond. This Kawhi is a jack of all trades, master of none. Great defender, good shooter, good finisher, good playmaker, and that's kind of what hurts him, is that he's good at everything, but just not amazing. Love Kawhi, love the Ray Allen base, but his dribbling animation is just terrible, so you really can't get shifty with him. And he's kind of just delegated to be like a 3-and-D guy that occasionally drives to the basket, which I don't love. Next up is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Obviously, you get everything that a normal Kareem should do with this diamond. Amazing in the post, amazing defender, amazing rebounder, really solid mid-range. But a lot of guys are getting the ability to shoot now, at least a little bit. Even Dwight Howard has a higher three-point rating than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and it's just a little bit tough. Eventually, when Kareem gets a pink diamond, they're probably going to toss him like a 70-shot three, maybe even better because, you know, 2K loves to do those things. But I think right now, D tier is okay for Diamond Kareem, because if I'm being honest, I low-key would rather have like a Bam Adebayo or Timmy D running my center. That's just me. Next up is Diamond Ja Morant, another case of insane offensively. Love the PG base, love the animations on Ja Morant, but just can't play defense. And I think D tier is fair for that because he's so good offensively, but defensively is a complete liability, and you really have to focus and hide him there, which is tough. Next up is Dominique Elijah, one of the cards that I was talking about when I was talking about Kareem that are still kind of getting a shot three. I think Hakeem has like a 77 shot three, which is solid, and some people might think it's blasphemous that we put him down into D because he does have a pretty good three. But for me, Hakeem's jump shot is terrible. Like, if you've used Nikola Jokic, it's the same jumper. It's booty. Like, it's just not good, and I don't think you're really going to get that many threes to fall with Hakeem. If you can do and you can green, great. You know what? Good on you. You're using Hakeem to his fullest potential. But to me, he kind of just seems like a okay mid-range shooter, a really good guy in the post, really good defender, good rebounder. And again, there's a lot of guys that I can pick up that can do that exactly the same, and even guys that I've got for free that do everything and more better. Next up is Diamond Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is still amazing because he's Giannis, but again, he's an outdated card that just can't really shoot the three ball and is limited with a lot of silver badges. So that's why we have a pink diamond, although they did kind of not make that pink diamond as overpowered as it could be, but still, Diamond Giannis is great, good option, but I would only run him at the 4 now because there's so many better small forwards. Next up is Amethyst Boris Dio, another card that is getting very outdated at this point, but what's great is a fully badged up Boris Dio can still be an absolute demon on offense, can still play make great, he's still an awesome defender, he can still rebound well, it's just super versatile and gives you everything you want. I love Boris Dio, and I think more people should keep him on the team. That's a nice little off the bench option to do a little bit of everything. Next up is Tyler Hero, and once you match up Tyler Hero, oh my lord, seriously, one of the most fun cards I've used in the game. Tyler Hero is just an amazing threat from deep, and if you're somebody who likes to chuck threes, Tyler Hero is your guy. Obviously, adding clamps is going to help him, but the trade break base on his Tyler Hero feels amazing with the shot stick you cannot miss. Hero is a demon. Next up, Shawn Kemp, an amazing all-around kind of card that at Amethyst that can do a little bit of everything. It can even stretch it out with that 80 shot 3 with jump shot 4, which is nice. I just don't feel like he's top tier at either of his positions. Like, he's a good power forward because he's amazing offensively, but then he doesn't have the defense for it. And then again, good center offensively, but he doesn't have the defense for it, or rebounding, which is a little tough. So he kind of puts Shawn Kemp in this weird spot, like Chris Webber early game, but still can be a really solid option for you if you just want to get a bunch of buckets, basically. Just run up the score and play no defense. Next up is Bingo Smith. When badged up, you can get this Bingo Smith to be an absolute demon, because you can get clamps, all that sort of stuff, and he basically has everything else I think that you would want, other than maybe like range, and it's really nice. Also has a LeBron James jumper, which is beautiful. It's super money jumper. I mean, great green window, above 90, 3-point rating. Hate the LeBron James layup package. It's booty. It's tough, but you know what? He's pretty nice once you get him up there. And again, I honestly could have put Bingo Smith higher, but I stayed modest and threw him into D. Next up is going to be one of my more controversial ones because I talk about how much I love this Lamarcus Aldridge, but I threw him in D. And I think it's because as time has gone on, again, we're getting more centers that can shoot pretty well from 3, that it's kind of taken away Lamarcus Aldridge's niche. He was a good defender with some pretty good shooting ability, some pretty decent post game, and okay rebounding. But as we've gone on, we've gotten a lot of new cards that can kind of do that exact same thing, just with better defense. And I think it's kind of moved this Lamarcus Aldridge down a bit, just the power creep that's going on. I still love LA. I still think he's great, and I don't think that just because you're using him right now and I put him down to D tier, you should completely get rid of him and switch up your team, because he's still amazing. But he's definitely slowly falling down the list for me. Next up is Pink Diamond Larry Nance, who basically is just a slightly better Diamond Giannis Antetokounmpo, but a worse than Pink Diamond Giannis Antetokounmpo, because he has a better jump shot. But again, great defender, great slasher, but can't really shoot. And that's really about it. If you have Larry Nance, I think he's a great power forward for you to use, but I just don't think he really plays the small forward that great, and that kind of hurts him pretty bad when you can't play one of your positions that well. Next up is Diamond Bull, and I'm going to put Diamond Thon, or Ruby Bull and Ruby Thon Maker in there because I feel like they kind of play the same. Thon is great because he's, super quick, super versatile, and does a lot of things, really well on the offensive end, but doesn't have the greatest of defense. And Bull plays great just because, he is a massively tall man with the Brook Lopez base. Both of these guys are just amazing because they are so tall, so quick, and can do everything super well. Thon's a bit better on the offensive end, and Bull feels a little bit better on the defensive end just because Bull is massive and just blocks everything in the paint. It's kind of crazy. But if you do, add some nice badges to both of these rubies, I think they could be some great cards, although they are both pups in the paint. So you get somebody like Arvidas, even Vlade Divock, and do a drop step, and they're flying away from the paint. No way they're stopping it. And the last tier that we're covering in this video is going to be the C tier that we have right here. A lot of cards in there, so it's going to take a little bit too. But starting off is Amethyst Serge Ibaka, a card that I love because his jumper is smooth. It is butter. He's a great defender, but I don't love him as a power forward. I love this Surge as a really good, stretch center, but I think in general, just as a power forward, it's not the most amazing. He's definitely a little bit lackluster, at least to me personally, but I still love him, and I still think he's really good, because how many other centers are going to shoot this great, still come back, play awesome defense, can dunk on everybody, have good speed, can still play in the post, have amazing tendencies, and are just a beautiful card. You also can add the duo with KD, and it makes the Serge Ibaka an even bigger threat everywhere. And if you boost up some of that shooting and some of that defense just a little bit more, Serge is an absolute demon. Next up is Pink Diamond Maurice Lucas, who again I kind of view as another kind of like Pink Diamond Giannis clone, because he is, or just a Giannis clone in general, because he has some nice 6'9" size, 7'1" wingspan, which is great, and is seriously one of the best, most versatile defenders you could use. I mean, this is a card with Hall of Fame Intimidator, Hall of Fame Clamps, Hall of Fame Defensive Leader, Hall of Fame Post Move Lockdown, Heart Crusher, Hot Stopper, Trapper, and Tireless Defender. Then also has like gold brick wall, gold pick dodger, pickpocket, rim protector. Insane. Also is an awesome post guy, has a good midi, a good jump shot, same one as Draymond Green, has amazing 83 speed and a 70 shot 3, which you can boost up and make great. But again, with the jumper, it's a little bit slow, which can sometimes be a little bit of a negative on there. And his three-point shot obviously isn't amazing at a 70, so that can be a bit of a negative. And he also doesn't play the center well. I think he plays the 4 great, but not the 5. Just a really, really solid card. And I think the best Pink Diamond Token Market card that we have right now, like, by far. Next up is Pink Diamond Connie Hawkins, who should play better than he does because he has amazing stats. He's an amazing overall defender. He's a great slasher, great post guy, super quick, nice midi, decent three-point shot. But they didn't give my guy any dunk packages, so he doesn't do any of the nice, good dunks that, avoid a lot of people and do a lot of great things. And I think that really, really hurts him, because when you have such good slashing ability but then don't slash that great, it hurts quite a bit. Next up, we do have Amethyst Drew Holiday, a card that is so slept on, especially for a free card. This Drew Holiday is amazing. He's a card that I feel like everybody has to pick up and use, because he does everything so well. Drew Holiday, my guy. Now with Drew, you have amazing defense, obviously, because it's Drew Holiday. Actually, is a super perimeter lockdown guy with a 96 perimeter defense, gold clamps, and a bunch of other gold badges. We also have, quick first step and all those wonderful things. We have some nice finishing, a decent dunk. It's not great, but it's pretty solid. A really good shot 3, a lovely jump shot, and I love the shooting badges on here. You badge up a few more shooting, and honestly, you probably could move this Drew up to like a B tier, because he's that good. Like, the same with this Drew Holiday for a free budget card. Man, oh man, is he nice. Next up is Pink Diamond Jason Williams, a guy who has a pretty decent jump shot, which I like. A pretty shifty, kind of like Kyrie Irving type, player there. A great shooter from deep, pretty solid defender, okay finisher, but a bit undersized and just doesn't feel like he plays as well. It also annoys me that his player model is bald, but then when you look at the card, he has hair, and that probably knocks, in my opinion, down of him a little bit, because I mean, why is he bald? It doesn't make sense. But Jason Williams, I think, is still a solid card and gets a lot more hate than he should. I've seen some people saying he's trash, but like, low-key, pick him up, try him out. He's actually pretty nice. Next up is Pink Diamond Dwight Howard, who I kind of view as just a better, more athletic Kareem. I just love Dwight. I think he does a lot of things really, really well for you. And his only negative is obviously the fact that he can't shoot the 3-ball, but has a really solid midi. And I think Dwight plays such good defense, especially all around with his gold clamps. Rebounds so well, plays in the post so well, dunks so well, and is so quick that you can actually kind of get away with it and work really well. If you're going to use a non-shooting center, I think your best bet is to just go with Dwight Howard, because this card is amazing. Kareem is probably my second best option, I would say, as a non-shooting center, but Dwight for sure is my favorite. I'm just not a fan personally of them, but Dwight is the best of them all. Next up is Diamond Rudy Gay. Again, I feel like I could have put Rudy Gay up a tier higher, but there's a lot of cards I feel like that were above him that I would just rather use. But Rudy Gay has that wonderful kind of big body. He's basically like a thick Giannis in the paint, which is great. Amazing shooter. The Rudy Gay base is awesome. He's an amazing slasher. Catches so many bodies, and he's so quick with his 90 speed and the goal quick first step. It's just the defensive stats and tendencies just aren't great. So even when you badge them up, he won't be the most amazing defender, but is seriously a good card, because that Rudy Gay base is amazing. Plus, for those that love it, he's got the Curry slide. How could you not love that? Actually, we have 2 more Curry slide cards coming after this Rudy Gay. First off being Paul Westphal, who is a Curry slide Ray Allen base player. Like, oh my god, it is wonderful. Like, come on, it is wonderful. Paul Westphal just does everything great. It just sucks that he doesn't have the most amazing finishing, but is a great shooter, really solid playmaker, and a pretty good defender as well. And again, like I said, that Ray Allen base is beautiful with that, Pro 2 size up. And the Pro 6 behind the back, smooth like butter. Love it. It's just he's an exchange card, so not as many people realize how good this Paul Westphal card is. But if you pull out a free packs like I have personally, I'm almost at Paul Westphal, and it's just been all free packs, 18 out of 25. Definitely recommend. If you're going to throw your cards at something in the exchange, Paul Westphal isn't a bad option, to be honest. And another Curry Slide player coming in here is Steve Francis. Steve Francis is a card that severely benefits off of badges, so beware of that before you fully invest in this card and get him, expecting him to be that next level guy for you. You need to add badges to him because he only has bronze range, only has bronze clamps. When you boost those up, they're really solid. Although he doesn't have the rest of the good defensive badges to really make him an amazing defender, but he's still going to be good. The 95 driving dunk with all of his slashing badges are going to be great. Super quick speed. I love the jumper. I love the Curry Slide. He just plays amazing. But again, you really need to put those badges up to get the most out of them. And next up is Latrell Spreewell, who I think is still an amazing card. Really versatile all around. Slightly undersized for the 3, so he only can play, I think, the 2 very well now. But Latrell Spreewell, once you give him some nice badges, can be great. I just think he's a bit outdated. But he still can do everything really well that you'd want to. Besides dribbling like a demon, if you like the dribble, Latrell Spreewell ain't your guy. But still is great. I just think he's got outclassed by some other recent lock-in rewards like Cam Reddish, things like that have knocked him down at the 2 and the 3 because they're just guys I'd rather use there. Next up is Diamond John Starks, another card that I've kind of been viewed a little bit of a hater on because I've been throwing him lower than I think other people would have. But to me, I think John Starks is amazing. I just don't love the jump shot 40 base as an off dribble guy. Has a great Giannis behind the back, which I love to see. Is a good dunker. He's an amazing defender. One of the best defenders you can use at the PG, period. And I love the silver range. But he's just missing a lot of key badges. You have to boost up his finishing, so although he could be an amazing slasher, he's missing a lot of the key badges for it. You have to add quick first step. Don't love when I have to do that because it's stupid expensive. Also have to add, Deadeye, Hots, 100 Green Machine, Sniper, which also you can't do. So all of those key badges that I just said, you can't add. Which is a little tough. So he's a great defender, pretty good shooter, but I think some badges that he just can't get hold him back from being that top tier threat. Next up is Karl Malone, another jack of all trades card that I think does everything well, plays in the post, finishes great, can shoot pretty good, and is a pretty good defender as well, as a nice rebounder. It's just they didn't give this Karl Malone as great and as versatile of defense as I would hope for out of it, so he gets ranked a little bit lower for that. If they gave him, traditional Karl Malone defense, like throwing the clamps on there and just making him one of those, versatile all-around guys with an OK 3, I think I would have preferred that, to be honest. But that's just me. Karl Malone, still a great card. Next up is Tommy Gordon Hayward, another card that's amazing once you add that clamps to him. It's kind of just like a theme now. They're giving us a lot of good cards, but then they take clamps away. That way they don't feel that amazing. But he's going to be a good slasher. He's going to be an amazing shooter, and then once you badge up that defense, he's going to be great. Jump shot 28 is a beautiful catch and shoot jump shot. It's just he's kind of limited to be that off ball threat. You don't really want to give it to Gordon Hayward because he can't dribble as well. So it's really all you can kind of do with him, but still an amazing card. Next up is Dominclad Draxler. Again, super slept on card. Clyde is amazing, super slept on. People just assume that because Clyde generally can't shoot the greatest that he just won't with every card. That's really not the case. The new jumper that they gave Clyde this year in Jump Shot 5 is beautiful. Jump Shot 5 is beautiful. He's a great shooter. I've used this card. I've actually shot very well with him, and he's one of the best slashers in the game, just like always. Solid defender once you add a lot of badges to him, and that's why I ranked him lower than I think he actually plays once all badged out, because that's a tall task. I think he can play up to, B tier, but because his defense has to be boosted up to get to there, I did knock him down a little bit. Next up is Domicle Hagan. He's an amazing shooter, really good defender, but he's undersized and he is missing some pretty key shooting badges. So C tier is where he landed. Next up is Diamond Chris Mullin. Jump shot 22, one of the smoothest, butteriest jump shots you'll ever use. It is, it's amazing. But Chris Mullin can't dunk at all. and doesn't have quick first step up rip, which is not great. He's also not a great finisher, so he's kind of just meant to be like 3 and D kind of guy, which he plays great, and he does that really, really well. It's just, there's a lot of other guys who can 3 and D and also do just a lot more better above him, which is tough. But I still love Chris Mullin, and again, he was a free diamond that plays amazing. Why wouldn't you want him? And next up is Diamond Brandon Ingram. Diamond Brandon Ingram is just, again, a demon. I think Ingram, with that jump shot 75, I hated it last year. I don't know what it was. I just could not get it down. But this year, jump shot 75 is amazing. And Brandon Ingram kind of feels like what Giannis cards were last year, just better shooting-wise. You know, really good playmaking. He's a great finisher. He's a really versatile defender once you get that, defense up. And I just love the jumper, and I think it is so smooth. It is so amazing that it really just helps this Brandon Ingram play out of this world. And last but not least is Ruby Jonathan Isaac in this C tier. I love this Ruby Jonathan Isaac. He is, next to AK, the best defender that I've used in the game because he's 6'11", a massive wingspan, and he locks everything up on the perimeter, shuts everything down inside. He's a card that everybody needs to have on their team because as soon as you put him on somebody, that is done for their scoring. His jump shot also, it has a massive green window because it's jump shot 70. Once you get it above that 93-point rating to the point where I didn't even boost it up at all, and I was still greening like crazy. But I do think you need to add some finishing badges to make him less of a pup inside. And then once you do that, there's nothing this Jonathan Isaac can't do. He is the best Ruby in the game by far, in my opinion. I love Isaac. I really, really love Isaac, if I'm being honest. But that's all we have for part 1 of this tier list. Again, if you guys want to see the B, A, and S tier, check back whenever part 2 is out. Obviously, should get a notification when that one goes live. Like the video, guys did enjoy. Comment down below what you guys think of the list, and subscribe if you guys are new. We are on that road to 10K subscribers, and support has been crazy lately, so thank you guys so much. Hope you guys are great today, and I'll see y'all in the next video.